I wonder how this news gets delivered. Like, does someone go, "Oi, Mr. Anthony, we can't make another James Bond movie. Because we fucking killed him in the last one. We murdered him for shock value. And now he's dead. And he's not Jesus. We can't resurrect him." I'm not kidding. Apparently, like, this is the conundrum that they're facing. Anthony Horowitz, the novelist commissioned by the Ian Fleming estate to write the 3 official 007 books, has complained. And he said that the last time we saw Bond, he was poisoned and blown to smithereens. How will they get past the fact that he is dead with a capital D? I think that was a mistake, because Bond is a legend. He belongs to everybody. He is eternal, except in that film. If I was asked tomorrow to write a script, I wouldn't be able to do it. Where would you start? You can't have him waking up in the shower and saying it was all a dream. Well, the first one is that you can Kenify him, I suppose. You're making a sequel and nothing happened. You don't mention it. He's just alive. Or you make a prequel. That's another possibility. Or, here's an idea. Just let him die. Just let him rest. You do understand what British culture is right now. Those people don't deserve entertainment. I know it sounds harsh, but hear me out. In 2016, you had feminists in The Guardian bitching and whining that James Bond is rape culture. Why? Because he's masculine. That's why. Toxic masculinity. And he kissed a girl. And they were like, "Oh my god, rape, fictional character, rape. Ah. Delete this, delete. That's all that these mortal bodies can do. That's the only thing that they know how to do. They can't build. They go delete. And so, if James Bond is supposed to be a character that's hyper-masculine, that is patriotic, that fights for his country, that seduces the woman and grabs her ass, can you actually do this with the British people that are alive today and their moral paranoia? The answer is no. You can't. The only thing that they could do is have James Bond be paired up with a strong and empowered black woman who's going to outshine him in everything. And he's going to be the little soy bitch. And the question is, like, do people want to see that movie? Probably not. And so I think that James Bond deserves better. I think that it's actually good that you killed him. I think that maybe this is why the screenwriter actually did it, because he saw the calm before the storm. Like, he knew that if James Bond is allowed to live, they're going to castrate him. They're going to taboo him into oblivion. And so I firmly believe that British people do not deserve entertainment. Maybe their children will, but not this current generation. No, they're like, ban this, ban that, ban. You can't make art with that toxic ban attitude. Now, it's kind of sad, don't get me wrong. Some people will say, well, why does everything need to have a sequel? The answer is, it kind of doesn't, but James Bond is different. It's actually part of British culture. It had, I think, over 20 or 30 actual movies, right? And just like Doctor Who, just like Mr. Bean, they're part of modern British culture. And they have been so for decades. Extremely talented people managed to make these IPs go around the world. And it only took less than a decade for modern British people that worked in the media to absolutely destroy these IPs. Except for Mr. Bean, I guess. That one is kind of hard to destroy because the man actually had some backbone. But when it comes to Doctor Who, like, we all know the results. We all know the tragedy of what happens when you allow Karens to run amok and to put taboos into fiction and to basically say that this is not allowed, this is not okay. And when you give them an inch, they stop saying what's not allowed, and they start regurgitating their vomit. And their stories, which are pretty much of like, okay, let's have women in wheelchairs, let's have girl boss attitude that outshined the main character. Let's co-opt what the show was originally about and let's create it into something else entirely that just glorifies our ideology and sucks our cock. But it's really good that they haven't managed to do that to James Bond yet. And so, if this is the conundrum, if this is the hurdle where it's like, oh, well, we can't do it again because he's that good. This is why I like the Joker. The sequel, I mean. A lot of people watched Joker, the sequel, and they absolutely hated it. But I absolutely loved it because they killed the Joker. And killing the Joker means that we're not going to be cursed with another trilogy, right? And so I want that attitude to be imported with Mr. Bond. The thing is, a lot of people do not appreciate James Bond as much as my generation does. Because a lot of people grew up with video games, grew up with movies that have special effects. Meanwhile, I grew up in a world of VHS cassette players. And seeing a movie was pretty rare. Like maybe you saw one or twice a month. Everything else was reruns. And James Bond, in a world where you don't have the internet, where you don't have Wikipedia, where you don't really have the ability to compare it with video games, had like the island with Dr. Doom and the evil laser, and that was actually believable back then. Right? Because like you didn't have the internet, you didn't actually understand what the Doom laser was, you didn't actually understand how the world works or Mars geography. And so it's like, okay, well, there's this island with the guy with the Doom laser, and James Bond is going there to fix it. Nowadays, it would actually be cringe. The only way that you could actually make a good James Bond story would be if they were to tackle it with some actual regional conflict. But we know that people in the British media are cowards. They would never tie it to the Middle East. They would never tie it to China. They would never tie it to like something that's actually meaningful. Like have James Bond in Palestine, or I don't know what the fuck. It doesn't even have to be realistic or to appeal to an ideology, but at least have the balls to tie it to something relevant. Like he goes into Palestine in order to fight against Dr. Doom, who's like developing some nerve gas or some shit. But they're not going to do that, are they? Of course not. Have him go into Ukraine. No. What they are going to do, though, is some extremely generic villain. Probably someone that's capitalistic oriented. And they're going to give him, as I mentioned before, a lesbian black empowered woman. And she's going to steal all the spotlight. And it's going to rely on special effects for 75% of the production. Okay? So, hopefully, the previous screenwriter have saved us from that atrocity. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.